So they formed themselves into a committee into an organization called Tamils Against Genocide. Now you can see on the screen the website of Tamils Against Genocide. Yeah, I believe, yeah.
Yeah. Maybe.
Can I show this?
Yes, you can just show this.
Yeah. Now this is the website of the Tamils Against Genocide, and Mrs. Jnanakon is one of the founder members of this, and then you can see the collection, how you can contribute to the Tamils Against Genocide. And then it also shows destruction of Tamil community in Sri Lanka. Now they were able to influence the Tamil community that Sri Lankan government has one mission, that is to completely destroy the Tamil community in Sri Lanka. And they were able to show the international community quite wrongly that the Tamils belong to the Christian religion. Now most of them are Hindus, and the Sri Lankan Sinhalese belong to a Buddhist religion, and they are now trying to persecute the Christians, and that is the reason for this war. They could not, and that is something that is acceptable to large number of Christian organizations all over the world. So then they started collecting money and they collected information. Now, in order to present some document to the US government, they thought we leave out presently His Excellency Mahinda Rajapaksa, because under the US law there is no provision to prosecute a head of state of another government unless he is a citizen or has a green card holder of the US government. Now they found that Mr. Gotabaya Rajapaksa is in fact an American citizen. He has a dual citizenship, and Mr. Sarath Fonseca, the most hated figures in the Tamil community. That is, public enemy number 1 is Mahinda Rajapaksa. According to them, public enemy number 2 is Gotabaya Rajapaksa, and public enemy number 3 was Sarath Fonseca. And they were trying to tell the international community, unless you step in, what would happen under Hitler? The decimation of the Tamil people, destruction of the Tamil nation, and even Holocaust will take place, and they will simply kill all the Tamils in the north and eastern province. And they believe, because the Western nations have been responsible in this kind of genocide. Hitler used gas chambers and other methods of eliminating, which they compared the Jews of the Jews in Germany to night soil, that they must be disposed of. Then they also brought in examples, another European country, Bosnia, right? And they said that in Bosnia, the ethnic Muslims were killed. They were shot indiscriminately. They never treated them as human beings. They just thought that they must be removed from Bosnia, and Bosnia was cleansed of the Muslims, and children, women, and men were killed. They were not only the people who took arms, but every single person, every single Muslim was killed. Then also there was this conception, Rwanda, the fight between the Tutsis and the other tribe. One tribe had all the advantages, like in Sri Lanka, the Tamils, and thus the other majority started killing them. So they said, now if you do not stop this, what is going to happen is the entire population of Tamils, ethnic Tamils, Sri Lankan Tamils living in Sri Lanka, will be killed by this utterly narrow, utter jingoistic Sri Lankan government who hates the Tamils. And then this was widely carried out in all the websites. Deepamala, you know, about hundreds and hundreds of websites were giving disinformation about the atrocities committed by Sri Lankan government, Sri Lankan forces, Sri Lankan people against the Tamils. Now, when they collected money and when they knew that the battle, the Tamils were facing difficulties, they hired one of the most eminent lawyers in US. He was the former Associate Attorney General of President Ronald Reagan. And he's Bruce Wayne. He's one of the famous lawyers, and I believe millions of dollars is paid to him to prepare an indictment against these two officials who are American citizens. And in fact, they were successful in doing so. I will show the first page of the indictment. I think that can be shown on the screen. If you can kindly show the first page of the indictment. Yeah. Now, if you look at that indictment closely, you will see that United States District Court, Central District of California, United States of America versus Gotabaya Rajapaksa and Sarath Fonseca. Case number 18 USC 1091, 18 USC 2441, 18 USC 234-A. Grand jury indictment for genocide. Now, this has been prepared by Bruce Wayne. Now, this indictment contains 850 pages. And it contains 258 or 285 charges against the Sri Lankan government. And all these charges are ultimately leveled against the Sri Lankan population, Sri Lankan government, but directed at Gotabaya Rajapaksa and Sarath Fonseca. Now, this is how. So when this happened, it was in all the websites all over the world with the indictment, and they download the 850 pages of indictment, and all absolutely false information was included in this. But then, when a person reads, when a liberal Western citizen reads this, they come to the conclusion that Sinhalese are a brutal race. They do not understand or respect the rights of the minorities. They are hell-bent in removing from the earth all the Tamils living in Sri Lanka. And then the government of United States was forced to take action by this group, and then ultimately they also forced number of senators who were pro-liberal, who was able to listen to the Tamil side of the story, and who believed all what the Tamils said, and they got around number of congressmen, and they prepared a report. They were able to get the U.S. Senate, the U.S. Congress to prepare a report to the U.S. and the U.S. Department of State prepared this report against the alleged crimes against Sri Lanka by Sri Lankan government. Now, if you can, now this is U.S. Department of State. You get the U.S. emblem. And 2000 report to Congress on incidents during the recent conflicts in Sri Lanka, unclassified. Now these are the achievements of the Tamil diaspora, pro-LTT Tamil diaspora. Now, what is very, very important is page 46 of the indictment. Now, you can see the page 46. Page 46, the second paragraph says, I read that, July 10th, a media outlet reported on July 18th that at a celebratory event in Ambalangoda, Army Chief General Sarath Fonseca stated that the military had to overlook traditional rules of war and even kill LTT rebels who came to surrender carrying white flags during the war against LTT.